Now, if you've never heard of translational medicine, the animal health corridor, One Health, or anything about a startup called Licarda, we're about to fix that.
The animal health corridor stretches from Manhattan, Kansas on the west to Columbia, Missouri on the east. It contains over 200 companies focused on animal health, the largest such concentration in the world, capturing annually about a third of the $20 billion market.
KCPT reporters Todd Feeback and Lindsay Fote visit Kansas City's Licarda, a 2012 biotech startup hoping to help companion animals suffering from diabetes using a treatment that started with dogs, then moved to humans, and now back to dogs.
If your pet is diabetic, this ritual is probably familiar to you. Twice a day, every day, giving the shots demands a strict routine, one that can place a burden on the owner.
It changes your life. You can no longer now just go where you want to go. You got to be back in time to give her a shot. And you have to keep the insulin refrigerated, so you can't just take it with you. You have to have something cold. So and you can't travel unless you have somebody that's going to take care of her or you're going to board her. So it has completely changed our lives.
Daisy is one of an estimated 400,000 dogs and cats who are taking insulin to treat their diabetes in the United States. So, if you could cure diabetes in dogs or cats, you would, right? It turns out you can. The cure has been around for over a decade.
Thousands of dogs have had islet transplants, all as preclinical research to eventually get us to a human islet transplant. And it had worked very well in the dogs, and yet it wasn't being offered to them as a therapeutic intervention. And that just, it seemed wrong.
Lisa Stenobittle is a faculty member at the University of Kansas. She has researched diabetes for over 15 years. Her company, Licarda, has created an efficient process used to create simplified, miniaturized islets. The islets are the insulin-producing cells of the pancreas.
Initially, we were looking at how to use our technology for drug screening, but because we're in the animal health corridor, people started talking to us about the applications of our work for animal health. And initially, it really wasn't something we had considered. As we started doing research and talking to them, it became very clear that there was a need for a better therapeutic intervention for dogs and cats with diabetes, and we could have an impact there.
So, why haven't dogs like Daisy been offered the cure before?
Why hasn't somebody done this before? I think it sounds strange, but one of the biggest reasons is that people in veterinary medicine and people in human medicine don't talk to each other. So all of that work in the dogs as preclinical studies to get to humans was all done by people in academic medical centers. Their whole focus was, how do we get this to a human product? And once they had used the dogs for those preclinical studies and it had gone to humans, they didn't care anymore.
Getting veterinarians and medical doctors talking and collaborating was the subject of the keynote at the 2013 Animal Health Research Symposium given by Catherine Bowers, co-author of the book Zubiquity.
Zubiquity essentially is how our human health would improve if our doctors talked to and collaborated with veterinarians. Kansas City is the perfect place to start a major conversation about animal health, human health, and where these two areas should be connecting in order to improve the health of all species. You have intellectual and academic resources here. You have an activated business community that's interested in this kind of thing. You have some of the world's experts on animal health and leading experts on human health. It seems like really an ideal place to become a center of gravity for thinking in a comparative, ubiquitous manner.
The term we're using is One Health. That's really the term. When you're talking about something that helps both animals and humans, that's One Health. So that's a little bit different than translational. They both have to translate from the basic science to the patient, but in one case the patient is a dog, and in another case it's a human.
The cure for type 1 diabetes in humans involves injecting harvested islets into a patient's pancreas. It takes more than one donor to cure a patient, and there simply aren't enough donors to meet demand. In the dog model, Licarda has reduced this ratio.
In the dogs and cats, we've already cut it down. So in dogs and cats, we look at a 1-to-1 ratio. And that's kind of the first generation to get to market. But we're already in the laboratory working on ways that we can not even need a donor, that we could have cells in culture and transplant those in a cell-based or regenerative medicine fashion.
I'm sure pet owners want to know two things. When can they cure their pets of type 1 diabetes, and how much will it cost? Stenobiddle says it could be offered within the next 12 months, and the price, they hope, will be in line with what a person pays now for diabetic treatment of their pets. That's a cost that can reach over $5,000 a year. For Stephanie, Daisy's mom, she says the cost would be worth it.
You know, we have to be fed to be able to give to other people, and she feeds me. So, you know, I mean, how can you put a dollar amount on that, really, you know?